the joint exercise called Yudh Abhyas, and it has been going on, which means for 18 years. This happens roughly in the same area, and this is about these two militaries coming together and working on understanding from each other and looking at logistics, interoperability. Remember, we have some pacts with the United States Defense Forces, for example, the LEMWA, which is about logistics sharing. Then we have COMCASA, which is about communications sharing. And when you have those kind of agreements, you have to operationalize them on the ground and see in terms of interoperability, what's working, what's not working, what needs improved. And of course, sharing of best practices and learning from each other in terms of operationalization of defense doctrines. So I think in that sense, the Chinese are being unnecessarily reactive. And as I said, even an exercise, a useless exercise in diplomacy, given the fact that this exercise, Yudh Abhyas 22, which happened over the last fortnight and is going to end on 2nd of December, this is in its 18th edition, which is, we are in 2022, which means it started sometime in 2004-5. And so in that sense, I think the Chinese are overreacting or just trying to make a point where none exists.
Yes, Abhishek, and in fact, we also have Piyush report. We will have Piyush joining us live from Oli. Just telling our viewers about the statement that has been released by China. China has stated that India-US military drills near LAC violate the spirit of Sino-India agreements. China has said that it was opposed to the joint Indo-US military exercises being held near the line of actual control, asserting that it violates the spirit of the two border agreements signed between New Delhi and Beijing. Now, in fact, Abhishek, what you were saying is that this is the 18th edition of Yudh Abhyas, 18th year, in fact, of military exercises between India and the American armies, and this is under the UN mandate. Is there a reason for China to oppose this exercise, this military exercise that has been taking place for the last 18 years? Why is China getting shifty right now?
Oh, you are absolutely right. A, these are exercises that have been going on for 18 years. B, these are within a broad UN mandate. In fact, as it is called, this is essentially an exercise that happens under rules of Chapter 7 of the UN mandate. And these are planned in advance. These are well informed in advance to all those concerned. These are well publicized. The fact that they are happening on camera, Sanika, clearly suggests that there is nothing to hide. This is about skill sharing. This is about experience sharing. This is about enhancing techniques and learning from each other, information exchange, interoperability, as among other things. So I think in that sense, the Chinese, if they are not really unsure about their own military capabilities, should not be, reacting in this manner. And even if they do, does not make a difference. These exercises have gone on for a while. India and the United States are strategic partners, and India happens to be a very evolving, close friend of the United States on the global scene. We are partnered together. Think in the same direction on the Indo-Pacific. We are partnering in Quad. There is no military alliance as such between the two nations, but then these exercises are not aimed at anyone. This is essentially about, two friendly nations coming together and learning from each other. So in that sense, I think this is not a war exercise. This is a joint exercise to learn from each other. And in that sense, yes. Clearly a case of Chinese overreacting, Sanika.
Yes, and in fact, as we know and as we've been reporting since yesterday, Abhishek, this is held annually to exchange best practices, tactics, techniques and procedures between the armies of the two nations. In fact, Piyush had earlier sent us this report from Oli in Uttarakhand, where he was showing the entire military exercises, the drill that is taking place between the two armies. Let's have a look.
Armed forces are showcasing as to how do they bring the patients here at this field hospital. Right when you can see as to how after doing the rescue operations, a casualty, an injured person is being brought here for the primary treatment. And after this, the injured person is taken inside this very hospital, and this is how the army personnel who are here at this field hospital take out that particular injured person for the primary aid. So this is happening during the joint exercise which is taking place here in Hawala of Uttarakhand, which is very much near to Tapovan, and through this exercise it is also being showcased what steps do the armed forces follow whenever any kind of casualty happens, and this is happening in accordance with the human assistance and disaster relief operations. We are showing with the pictures of the steps which the armed forces follow whenever any kind of casualty happens in any mountainous area. Remember that Indian Army has got the training and is very much equipped with all the equipments, and very much trained with the trained in guarding the mountainous areas. So these are the primary treatment. This is the primary treatment which is being given to the injured person here, and these are the steps which they follow where they ask they try to wake up the injured person, and this is basically during the human assistance and disaster relief operations. So these pictures somewhere tell us as to how the steps those are followed during the disaster relief operations. We'll also try to talk to Colonel Chandrasekhar, who is commanding officer of this field hospital which has been established, and through this they are trying to tell us the kind of primary treatment which is given, and if necessary then the patient is shifted to the other big hospital. So yes sir, what steps are you following?
Now the patient is been received here in the reception. We have a surgical team here. They assess the patients again depending on the criticality. Then it is divided into P1, again reclassified. If it is a priority 1 category which requires urgent resuscitation and emergency surgery, now the team consisting of is anesthetist and the surgeon and the medical officer here. They assessing now the patient what he requires. So once it has been assessed, from here he will be moved to the required facility. Now it is in a head intubation.
So if you talk about this field hospital, how much time you take in establishing this hospital whenever any kind of disaster occurs?
Whenever we get, it takes around 12 to 16 hours to establish here, fully make it functional. So we have established in 12 hours.
How many people can be treated in one go?
We are able to handle around 50 patients per day, and we can carry out 10 surgeries in 24 hours. Capabilities are that much.
And so one more last question, if necessary, when do you take the final call to shift the patient to some other big hospital?
Suppose once we carry out life and limb saving surgeries. Once the patient is stabilized, then we have to shift it to the further tertiary care hospital where the definitive treatment will be carried out.
In this joint exercise, both the armies are getting training as to how to do relief operations whenever a disaster occurs in mountain. Right behind me, you can see as to how the US and Indian Armed Forces are coming down from that particular cliff using a stretcher. Remember that this is happening under the mandate of human assistance and disaster relief operations. Here, you can clearly see as to how another drill is being showcased where US Armed Forces and Indian Armed Forces both are taking part in this joint operation, and they are now coming down from that particular cliff, and they are trying to show us to how do they do disaster relief operations whenever any kind of tragedy or disaster occurs in mountainous areas. See, they are trying to tell us as to how a casualty has been brought down using that particular stretcher, and soon after that, whenever a casualty is brought down from a cliff, they take that particular casualty on the stretcher to a nearby hospital for the further treatment. So here, both the armies are taking part in joint exercise which is taking place right now in Tapovan. So we just showed you how the personnel of US and Indian Army shown that how did they rescue a person, a casualty who was stuck there on the cliff where when a disaster occurred. So narrative was given here that disaster has occurred, and because of the flash flood which has occurred in Joshimath, the bridge was collapsed collapsed, and when there was no connection between Joshimath and Malari, the person had to climb the mountain and rescue the people who were stuck on that particular cliff of this mountain. So here the rescue operation is taking place, where the army personnel are trying to tell us, trying to showcase as to how do they do the rescue operations whenever any kind of disaster occurs in mountainous areas. This is Piyush Mishra with video journalist Rick in Top 1 for Public TV.
The joint military exercise between India and the US close to the LAC at the China-India border violates the spirit of the agreements signed between China and India in 1993 and 1996. It does not serve the mutual trust between China and India. China has already expressed concerns to the Indian side.
And we have Abhishek joining us live right now as we break this big story about Chinese objection to this annual exercise that takes place between the Indian and the US armies. Abhishek, we heard the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson there as well. In fact, was stating that this sort of hampers the spirit between the two countries. But we spoke about this. This is an annual exercise. Is there a reason for China to object to an exercise, to a military drill that has been happening every year?
I mean, what spirit of the Chinese talking about, Sanika? Remember, just last week we had Chief of Army Staff, our Chief of Army Staff, General Manoj Pandey, telling us that the Chinese have not done anything insofar as their deployments at the LAC in the Ladakh sector go, and that the situation remains uncertain and that we remain in a state of full deployment. So the Chinese, after 18 rounds of talks or 17 rounds of talks post the Ladakh standoff and whatever happened in Galwan, we cannot forget the conduct of the Chinese, the kind of duplicitous conduct that we have seen on their part in terms of saying something and doing something else. So I think they should not be concerned about an exercise which has been going on for 2 decades almost. This is the 18th edition of Yudh Abhyas between India and the United States, which have an enduring partnership going between the two nations. Just that perhaps this time there's a little more media attention to the exercise, but they have been happening in the same sector along the line of actual control and with the similar composition of troops. Since they began, India and the United States have signed almost half a dozen military pacts, and that includes the LEMUA and the COMCASA, among others, and those pacts provide for these kind of exercises, in fact, scale them up. So I think we are absolutely within international rules to be doing these exercises. In fact, these are happening as per Chapter 7 of the UN mandate on these kind of joint military exercises, which, by the way, China also carries out, for example, with Pakistan, which we never complain about, or with other nations in the world. And in fact, India and China are part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which has a joint military exercise component, and there the Indian and the Chinese troops also share similar experience and skill sharing. So I think in that sense, the Chinese are overreacting, if at all. And as I said, the focus should be on de-escalating and fully pulling back from the Ladakh sector rather than making these kind of noises which really hold no water.
Yes. In fact, Abhishek, as we're talking about this breaking development, we also have Piyush joining us live from Uttarakhand, where the military exercises are taking place right now. Piyush, if you can quickly show us what's happening there in Uttarakhand as the military exercises are underway.
Well, Sanika, today's exercise has now come to an end and it will continue till December 2. And like our senior editor Abhishek Kapoor has also pointed out that yes, we are within our international rules to conduct this exercise. Though Defence Ministry has also made it very clear that it has nothing to do with the China. But we are now seeing how China coming out and complaining about this. We need to remind China that we do these exercises with not only with US but with all friendly nations. And last time in 2020, 2021, India had gone to Alaska, where there is always a negative 20 temperature. There we conducted a joint exercise with US Armed Forces, and this time US has come to India. Next year, India will also travel to US. So it happens every day, alternate years, the armies travel to each other's countries. And the main motive of this exercise is peacekeeping. It is basically taking place under the UN mandate. In fact, according to this UN mandate, there are multiple fields on which this exercise was focused. One is how is peacekeeping. Another one is also HADR, which means human assistance disaster relief operations. But China has got irked because LAC is merely 100 kilometers away from this very place, and the climatic conditions.
पहले से और भी अधिक भव्य स्वरूप में सामने आया। ये मणिपुर के लोगों की स्पिरिट और जज्बे को दिखाता है। विशेष रूप से मणिपुर सरकार ने जिस तरह से एक व्यापक विजन के साथ इसका आयोजन किया, वो वाकई सराहनीय है। मैं मुख्यमंत्री एन बीरेन सिंह जी और पूरी सरकार की इसके लिए सराहना करता हूं। साथियों, मणिपुर इतने प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य, सांस्कृतिक समृद्धि और विविधता से भरा राज्य है कि हर कोई यहां एक बार जरूर आना चाहता है। जैसे अलग अलग मणियां एक सूत्र में एक सुंदर माला बनाती हैं, मणिपुर भी वैसा ही है। इसलिए मणिपुर में हमें मिनी इंडिया के दर्शन होते हैं। आज अमृतकाल में हमारा देश एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की भावना के साथ बढ़ रहा है। ऐसे में फेस्टिवल ऑफ वननेस इस थीम पर शंघाई फेस्टिवल का सफल आयोजन भविष्य के लिए हमें और ऊर्जा देगा, नई प्रेरणा देगा। शंघाई मणिपुर का स्टेट एनिमल तो है ही, साथ ही भारत की आस्था और मान्यताओं में भी इसका विशेष स्थान रहा है। इसलिए शंघाई फेस्टिवल भारत की जैविक विविधता को सेलिब्रेट करने का एक उत्तम फेस्टिवल भी है। ये प्रकृति के साथ भारत के सांस्कृतिक और आध्यात्मिक संबंधों को भी सेलिब्रेट करता है और साथ ही ये फेस्टिवल सस्टेनेबल लाइफस्टाइल के लिए जरूरी सामाजिक संवेदना की प्रेरणा भी देता है। जब हम प्रकृति को, जीव जंतुओं और पेड़ पौधों को भी अपने पर्वों और उल्लासों का हिस्सा बनाते हैं, तो को एग्जिस्टेंस हमारे जीवन का सहज अंग बन जाता है। भाइयों और बहनों, मुझे बताया गया है कि फेस्टिवल ऑफ वननेस की भावना को विस्तार देते हुए इस बार शंघाई फेस्टिवल केवल राजधानी नहीं बल्कि पूरे राज्य में आयोजित हुआ। नागालैंड बॉर्डर से म्यांमार बॉर्डर तक करीब 14 लोकेशन पर इस पर्व के अलग अलग रंग दिखाई दिए। ये एक बहुत सराहनीय पहल है। जब हम ऐसे आयोजनों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों के साथ जोड़ते हैं, तभी इसका पूरा पोटेंशियल सामने आता है। साथियों, हमारे देश में पर्वों, उत्सवों और मेलों की सदियों पुरानी परंपरा है। इनके जरिए हमारी संस्कृति तो समृद्ध होती ही है, साथ ही लोकल इकोनॉमी को भी बहुत ताकत मिलती है। शंघाई फेस्टिवल जैसे आयोजन निवेशकों को, उद्योगों को भी आकर्षित करते हैं। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है ये फेस्टिवल भविष्य में भी ऐसे ही उल्लास और राज्य के विकास का एक सशक्त माध्यम बनेगा। इसी भावना के साथ आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
So this was a special address by the Prime Minister to the people of Manipur, where he was speaking to the people of Manipur on the occasion of a Shanghai festival, saying that we see a mini India in Manipur.
झाके रे झाके झरोखे से झाके हैरत से आंखें अपनी सी दुनिया नई रंगी लागे ख्यालों की खिड़की से मन कूदे भागे झाके रे झाके झरोखे से झाके देख के दंग है छोटे बड़े सारे झाके रे झाके हर कोई ताके तरक्की को टुक टुक हर कोई ताके झाके रे झाके झरोखे से झाके
Reimagineering brighter futures with smarter steels. ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel India. Smarter steels, brighter futures.
ये कानून 3 साल पहले पारित हो चुका है। अगर दम जिसके पास है वो चालू करा रहा हो। ये तो सेंट्रल कानून है, ये सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेशन है। मोदी सरकार के पास है, उनकी जेब में है। सीए लागू कराने किसने रोका है? क्यों नहीं लागू कर सकते? सीए अगर लागू होगी ना, ज्यादा हिंदू लोगों का खतरा बनेगी। ये मैं हाथ से आप इसको संज्ञान में ले लेना चाहिए कि ये जो सीए है और जो एनआरसी है, ये बस चुनावी ये औजार है। सिर्फ चुनाव की मकसद के लिए ये सारे की बात हो रहे हैं, सीए और एनआरसी। बस ये बात हमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है। अगर सरकार चाहे तो कर सकते हैं, सरकार उनके पास है। ये हो सकता है अगर कोई
The report exposes how Robert Vadra and Huda's family conspired together in a multi-crore scam.
Mr. Malia, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer? The entire disputed land will be handed over to the Hindu parties to make a Ram temple.
The mental torture of Jadhav that is consistently happening there, it's a very clear indication about how these confessions are actually doctored and taken.
Delhi High Court has said the riots in 2020 evidently did not happen in the spur of the moment.
We see a split verdict in the Supreme Court. The one thing that needs to be understood is what is going to happen ahead.
And we're getting breaking news right now that Enforcement Directorate has questioned actor Vijay Deverakonda. This is in connection with his recently released film Liger, and the source of funding for this film is under question, is under investigation. Now what we're picking up is that a Telangana-based politician invested money in this film, and investigating agencies suspect that Hawala money could have been used for the production of this film. Earlier, in fact, what we're also getting to know, the director of this film, Puri Jagannath, and the producer, Charmi Kaur, was also questioned in connection with the same case. The source of funding for the movie Liger, which in fact had released in August this year, it was a pan-India film also produced by Dharma Productions, starring Vijay Deverakonda and Ananya Pandey. This film, the source of funding for this film is under scanner. What we are also getting to know is that Telangana-based politicians' links to this film is being investigated. What is also under investigation is that was money from Dubai sent to India via Hawala. Was that money used for the production of this movie? Is what is under investigation, is what the Enforcement Directorate is investigating. What we are getting to know is that Vijay Deverakonda has been questioned in Hyderabad. We will get Shravan and Aishwarya as well to give us more information about the investigation that has been conducted so far as this case is concerned. And just giving a recap to our viewers that Vijay Deverakonda, a superstar in the Telugu film industry, was questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in Hyderabad in connection with his film Liger, which had released in August this year. It was touted to be a pan-India film but had flopped massively at the box office. And the source of funding for this film is under scanner. This film was directed by Puri Jagannath and was also produced by Charmi Kaur, both of whom have been questioned by the Enforcement Directorate. This film was made on a budget of 90 crores, also starring Ananya Pandey. And in fact, Liger even failed to collect 30% of the business it made and was a huge flop at the box office. Enforcement Directorate is now investigating the source of funding, which they say is linked to a Telangana-based politician. We will have Shravan as well as Aishwarya joining us on this breaking news that we are getting of actor Vijay Deverakonda being investigated. What was the investigation like? What was he questioned on? The source of funding, the Dubai link to the film, the money that was probably poured into the film, was it Hawala money? This is what the Enforcement Directorate is currently investigating. What we can tell our viewers is that recently ED had also summoned Charmi Kaur and director Puri Jagannath. Charmi Kaur, who produced the film, and director Puri Jagannath, who has directed the film. They were also questioned after they have received complaint stating that foreign funding, including Hawala money, was invested in the film Liger, which released in August this year. Now, this interrogation of the producer Charmi Kaur and Puri Jagannath took place a few days back. And today we are getting to know that Vijay Deverakonda was questioned by the Enforcement Directorate at the ED office in Hyderabad a few hours back. A top Telangana politician's link is emerging to the production of this film as one of the financiers. In fact, he is facing allegations of investing crores of money, which he allegedly received from abroad via Hawala, probably from Dubai. So the entire source of funding is being questioned on this of the film Liger, which was produced under the banner of Dharma Productions, which was promoted heavily before its release on August 25th, 2022. This film stars Vijay Deverakonda and also Ananya Pandey. And Vijay Deverakonda, who was the lead in this film, has been questioned by the Hyderabad police. Niranjan, our executive editor, is joining us on the phone line to give us more details about the investigation that took place in Hyderabad. Niranjan, what are you hearing about the investigation so far?
We've been tracking the story closely. In fact, he's an actor from Tollywood in the Telugu film industry, and his recent movie, like you mentioned, Liger, was a big flop at the box office. And Vijay Deverakonda has appeared before the Enforcement Directorate, we are told, earlier today in connection with the investigation, in connection with the funding for Liger. We are hearing that a top Telangana politician is also under the scanner. A Telangana politician under the scanner And there is FEMA violation also being investigated. The ED is looking at alleged violation of the Foreign Exchange Management Act. We're looking at sources of funding and also his remuneration, payments also made to actors. In this movie, there was also a cameo by Mike Tyson. That also is being looked at. So the ED is looking at funding of the movie, payment to the actor, and the story continues. In fact, the ED had also earlier grilled the director of another movie as well. So they're looking at different angles here. But I think the LIGO funding is under the scanner. And that earlier grilled film director Puri Jagannath and actor and producer Charme Kaur on the 17th of November. And all of them are being questioned about the source of investment of the movie, which was produced, by the way, in both languages, Hindi and Telugu. LIGO was released in August this year. Once again, it was a big flop show, and flop movie barely made any money. And Mike Tyson back then, like I said, had also played a cameo in that movie. And the budget for that movie, we were told, was about 125 crore or something about that number. And some of these actors who played a role in that movie included Vijay Deverakonda and Ananya Pandey. The film was shot in different places across the world, as per reports even in Las Vegas. Completely bombed, like you were saying, Sanika. Barely made about 20% of what it spent in the production of this movie. So a very interesting development, and I think you spoke about the producers, etc. So big names, big banner, big actors, completely bombed. But the funding angle is being looked at right now. There is something suspicious about it that the ED is now looking at. Back to you for now.
All right, thanks Niranjan there telling us about the Enforcement Directorate questioning film producer Deverakonda from down south in Hyderabad, where he's being questioned in connection with sourcing of funds for his latest movie Liger. Let's try and connect with Aneri if we can on more on this, given the fact that this happened in Hyderabad. And this is in connection with a Telangana-based politician. In fact, we can try and get Aishwarya on the phone if we can. The questioning by the Enforcement Directorate of Deverakonda happened in connection with sourcing of funds for the movie Liger, which was his latest movie. It is alleged that the funds generated during the process of making of the movie and after were being sent to Dubai and then laundered back to India. A typical money laundering operation, according to allegations that are being investigated by the Enforcement Directorate. Let's go to Aneri. She's reporting live from Hyderabad. All right, Aneri, over to you. When did the questioning happen of the film producer? What are the specific charges which the Enforcement Directorate is investigating? And has the questioning ended? Is he going to be produced before a court, or the ED? Is the Enforcement Directorate planning to move further, arrest him, or they are just questioning him at this stage?
Well, Abhishek, according to our sources, what we are being told is that the Liger movie, which was one of the super hit movie in the Tollywood, and also the cost making of this movie was near about 100 crores. And so, in that regard, our ED has been questioning, because Vijay Deverakonda is one of the main persons in this film, and also Enforcement Directorate is now questioning Vijay Deverakonda in connection with the cost, and also most of the film shooting has happened in the foreign countries. And so what we have been told is that now the Enforcement Directorate is looking into the financial transactions as well, and also we are yet to get any sort of confirmation in regards with what will be the next move, because this is also said to be a money laundering case. So now Vijay Deverakonda, who is a Tollywood actor, topmost Tollywood actor, is being grilled by the Enforcement Directorate in the movie for the movie Liger, and also we have been seeing that has almost been 4 to 5 hours that Enforcement Directorate has been questioning the actor. Producer has now also been come under scanners. The Telangana-based Neta from the center of enforcement directorate into this matter. So now definitely a lot of questions being raised in regard with what will be the next move by the enforcement directorate, and also because this movie has been one of the costliest movies in the recent times, almost 100 crores was spent. So definitely a lot of questions and eyebrows being raised in this regard. So now enforcement directorate questioning the Tollywood actor Vijay Deverakonda into this matter.
All right. Thanks for those details, and obviously you would keep us up to date on this story, which is still evolving, with the Enforcement Directorate questioning Vijay Deverakonda, Telangana-based producer of movie Liger, and the Enforcement Directorate looking at a money laundering charge against him. Moving on back to Delhi. Delhi Police's Economic Offences Wing the Delhi Police's Economic Offences Wing has arrested a woman named Pinky Irani in the Sukesh Chandrasekhar case. Multiple rounds of questioning were conducted. Her name appeared during the interrogation of Nora Fatehi and Jacqueline Fernandez. In fact, this is information coming in through sources in Delhi Police Economic Offences Wing, and this is in connection with investigation in the FIR number 208/21 with the special cell, and this is Sukesh Chandrasekhar case, and Pinky Virani, a resident of Mumbai, she joined the investigations but then now seems to have been arrested and produced before a court. Let's go to Madhurima. She's reporting live on the story in Delhi. Madhurima, post her questioning, Pinky Irani seems to have been arrested. What are the specific charges against her, and has the police succeeded in getting her custody for custodial interrogation? Madhurima.
Well, yes, absolutely, Abhishek. The allegations that were levelled against Pinky Irani, even in the charge sheets, had very specifically pressed upon the fact that she was in the know of all the fraudulent activities of Sukesh Chandrasekhar. And moving forward, after the multiple days of investigation, the police found enough evidence so as to present her in front of the court and seek the police custody. And the court have even awarded the police Pinky Irani's custody for further interrogation. Remember, the charge sheet had very specifically termed Pinky Irani as one of the closest to Sukesh Chandrasekhar. There were sources in the police that they asserted that she was the personal shopper for all the actresses, and specifically she was the one who used to bring in touch these actresses with Sukesh through phone or via physical meeting. Also, Pinky Irani, though, has been refuting any participation in any fraudulent activities, and she had weaved her own story that Sukesh had picked her to run a talent acquisition company, because she had an experience of being in the television industry and hold the entertainment beat, and which is why she was picked by him, because he wanted to open a talent management company. But the evidence that suggests the way she has been shopping, that has been alleged in the charge sheet, that the way she has been shopping for these actresses, bags worth of lakhs and multiple crore rupees have been spent by Pinky Irani on these actresses. Now the police have gathered enough evidence so as to take her in custody, and now that it has happened, we'll know in the coming days as to what all she will have to offer from her side and how this entire case unravels. Abhishek.
Okay. Top wrap. All right. Thank you so much there. Shopper for Sukesh Chandrasekhar and his friends, Pinky Irani, arrested and taken into police custody for questioning. All right. Israeli filmmaker Nadav Lapid, who insulted Kashmir files at Indian International Film Festival, has now targeted India. Speaking to an Israeli media house, Lapid said that what's going on in India is crazy. He raised questions over India's Kashmir policy. Outrage over the insults by Israeli filmmaker. Kashmiri Pandits protest in Jammu. Kashmiri Pandits asked the filmmaker to come on ground and witness the pain. Angry Pandits said that the filmmaker's thoughts are vulgar.
देखिए, मैं इस बंदे को एक एजेंट के रूप में देखता हूँ। इस बंदे को प्लांट किया गया है और उसने इफी के स्टेज पे एक बहुत बड़ा ब्लास्ट किया है। ये एक वाइट कॉलर टेररिस्ट था जो चेयरमैन ऑफ जूरी के नाम पे अपॉइंट किया गया।
Telangana Governor Tamilisai Soundararajan has expressed her anguish and questioned KCR over YS Shamila. The governor said that women leaders and cadres need to be treated in a more dignified and respectful way. DMK has filed a fresh affidavit in the Supreme Court opposing CAA. DMK said that CAA is against India's fabric of secularism. DMK raised the issue of Tamilians and said that Indian Tamilians are living in refugee camps in constant fear of deportation in their state. DMK also alleged center of practicing a stepmotherly treatment with Tamils. Alright, fresh arrest has been made in Liquorgate case. Businessman Amit Arora is the latest arrest in this scam. As per sources, Amit Arora has been arrested under the criminal sections of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The accused will be produced before court, where Enforcement Directorate will seek his custody. The CBI has given out summons to Telangana Minister Gangula Kamalakar and TRS MP Vadiraju Ravichandran. Both the leaders have been asked to appear in Delhi tomorrow. Earlier, Telangana Minister was raided by the Income Tax Department. For 8th straight day, the server at AIIMS are running down and AIIMS is forced to run the systems on manual mode. Meanwhile, agencies have found an IP address belonging to a neighboring country and investigating whether it's an insider's job or if there is a foreign hand in the cyber attack. Okay, a short break on the other side. Served langar at Singhu border. Now, brutal crackdown in Sangru in Punjab. Lapid echoes lobbies intolerant lie, attacks Indian government, says no free speech in India. On the other side.
ये कानून 3 साल पहले पारित हो चुका है। अगर दम जिसके पास है वो चालू करा रहा हो। ये तो सेंट्रल कानून है, ये सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेशन है। मोदी सरकार के पास ये उनकी जेब में है, ये लागू कराने किसने रोका है? तो क्यों नहीं लागू कर सकते? सीए अगर लागू होगी ना, ज्यादा हिंदू लोगों का खतरा बनेगी। ये मैं आज से आप इसको संज्ञान में ले लेना चाहिए कि ये जो सीए है और जो एनआरसी है, ये बस चुनावी ये औजार है। सिर्फ चुनाव की मकसद के लिए ये सारे की बात हो रहे हैं, सीए और एनआरसी। बस ये बात हमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है। अगर सरकार चाहे तो कर सकते हैं, सरकार उनके पास है। ये हो सकता है, अगर कोई शासन के लिए कुछ भी हो सकता है, हमें इसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। कानून व्यवस्था को अगर सही ढंग से चलाना है, इसके लिए कोई निर्णय ले सकते हैं सरकार की अपनी ये अधिकार बनते हैं।
Around 7 a.m., a massive fire broke out in a plastic factory in Lilua area in Hawala district of West Bengal. The factory was filled with raw materials which escalated the spread of the fire. As a result, thick smoke engulfed the nearby areas. As per initial report, some people were inside the factory while the fire broke out, but all were safely rescued and no casualties were reported. According to the fire department, 4 fire tenders tried to douse the fire. It is also alleged that no fire extinguishing system was installed inside the factory. Fire officials have stated that a detailed investigation has been launched, but the reason of the fire is yet to be confirmed. Bureau Report, Republic TV. In a fatal road accident, 6 people have lost their lives while 15 others severely injured in Uttar Pradesh's Bahraj. Initial reports suggest that the accident took place due to a collision between a roadways bus and a truck in Tapesipa area. Police teams rushed to the spot and injured were shifted to the nearest hospital.
Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai, as we'd been reporting earlier, is set to visit Belgavi on the 2nd of December. Bommai will visit the bordering village of Belgavi.
The Delhi Liquor Gate. Now, the Enforcement Directorate has now arrested Amit Arora. Now, remember, it's the 6th arrest in the case.
The joint operation for the BSF as well as the Punjab Police, as they have recovered 5 AK rifles, 5 pistols and 9 magazines that have been recovered from the Firozpur area.
All right, we are cutting across live to pictures of Union Home Minister Amit Shah campaigning in his hometown of Mansa in Gujarat. That's just north of Gandhinagar. And Union Home Minister Amit Shah on a bus, on an open bus, and going through the streets of Mansa town. Remember, Mansa is his hometown, though of course Amit Shah was not born in Gujarat, he was born in Mumbai, grew up there and then came to Gujarat in very early youth. And now, as Union Home Minister, campaigning in his hometown. Mansa is a constituency which has swung between Congress and the BJP. Not a traditional stronghold of the party, but has off and on come to the BJP. And we have pictures of Union Home Minister Amit Shah campaigning in his hometown Mansa. Remember, Gujarat campaign is peaking. In fact, tomorrow is the first phase of polling, though of course not in North Gujarat where the Union Home Minister is campaigning as of now. This is in North Gujarat. The first phase of polling to 89 seats happens in South Gujarat and Saurashtra Kutch. But campaign really peaking in the state, even as in those parts of Gujarat where the first phase of polling has to happen tomorrow. The campaigning has stopped. This is North Gujarat, just north of Gandhinagar, the state capital, about 60 kilometers from Ahmedabad, and huge crowds there. Okay, we can cut to our reporter from our Hindi channel, Bharat, who's reporting there from the ground live. Let's cut to Deepesh. He's speaking from there on the ground in Mansa.
में नजर आ रहा है जोश और उत्साह के साथ बीजेपी के ये तमाम कार्यकर्ता अपने केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री से मुलाकात करने के लिए, अपने बीजेपी के दिग्गज नेता से मुलाकात करने के लिए और उनका आशीर्वाद प्राप्त करने के लिए यहाँ पर पहुंचे हुए हैं। और तस्वीरों में आपको अमित शाह नजर आ रहे होंगे जो हाथ हिलाकर सभी लोगों का अभिवादन स्वीकार कर रहे हैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में वोट करने की अपील कर रहे हैं। एक तरफ अगर हम जिक्र करें तो पहले चरण का जो मतदान है वो कल यानी 1 तारीख को होना है, तो दूसरे तरफ जो दूसरे चरण का मतदान है वो 5 तारीख को होना है और उस दूसरे चरण के मतदान के लिए केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री अमित शाह यहाँ पर पहुंचे हुए हैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में वे माहौल बनाते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। और दरअसल देखिए, आपको बॉडी लैंग्वेज जो नजर आ रही है वो देखिए कि एक अभिभावक की भूमिका में वे दिखाई दे रहे हैं कि अगर जो रथ है उसके सामने जो कार्यकर्ता चल रहे हैं उन्हें कह रहे हैं कि थोड़ा सा साइड हो जाइए, थोड़ा आगे चलिए और आइट साइड चलिए ताकि किसी तरह की कोई चोट किसी कार्यकर्ता को इस जोश के दौरान लग ना जाए। यही कारण है कि इस तरह से एक अभिभावक की भूमिका भी कहीं ना कहीं अमित शाह की नजर आ रही है। देखिए तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं हाथ हिलाकर हाथ जोड़कर वे अभिवादन स्वीकार कर रहे हैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में माहौल बनाते हुए वे यहाँ पर नजर आ रहे हैं। बीजेपी के पक्ष में माहौल बनाते हुए भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए वोट करने की अपील वे इस दौरान करते हुए दिखाई दे रहे हैं। तस्वीरों में आपको साफ तौर पर नजर आ रहा होगा कि किस तरह से उत्साह और उमंग हजारों की संख्या में एक बड़ी तादाद में यहाँ पर जो बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ता हैं वो एकत्रित हुए हैं, इकट्ठा हुए हैं और बड़ी भीड़ यहाँ पर बीजेपी के नेता और कार्यकर्ताओं की नजर आ रही है। दरअसल कहीं ना कहीं अगर हम अहमदाबाद जिले का जिक्र करें तो ये जो असरवा विधानसभा क्षेत्र है ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिहाज से बेहद खास मानी जाती है और यहाँ पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी कमल खिलाने में कामयाब हुई। यही कारण है कि यहाँ पर जो माहौल है
All right, we are getting pictures of the Union Home Minister's road show in Ahmedabad. I think he's in Mansa in North Gujarat. We'll correct that. And This is the Union Home Minister's hometown. Or is he in Ahmedabad? Gujarat campaign peaking. Tomorrow is first phase of polling. I can see Pradeep Singh Waghela. Okay, this is Asarwa because I can see Pradeep Singh Waghela, a former Home Minister of Gujarat, putting on that headgear on the Union Home Minister as he goes through the streets of Ahmedabad. On that note, a short break and then we come back live with the pictures.
In a fatal road accident, 6 people have lost their lives while 15 others severely injured in Uttar Pradesh's Bahraj. Initial reports suggest that the accident took place due to a collision between a roadways bus and a truck in Tapesipa area. Police teams rushed to the spot and injured were shifted to the nearest hospital.
प्राथमिकता के आधार पर पुलिस बल सवेरे से ही तैनात है। जैसे ही घटना की सूचना मिली, पुलिस के लोगों ने रेस्क्यू किया है और जो घायल हैं गंभीर रूप से उनका जिला अस्पताल में इलाज चल रहा है। से सामान्य घायल यहाँ CSC पर हैं और ये बाकी सारी चीज़ें इसकी जांच कराई जा रही है।
However, according to the officials, cause of the accident is yet to be confirmed. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Indian and US forces is underway in Oli of Uttarakhand. There's a drill which they are right now showcasing, and that's the search and rescue operation drill.
The NIA has targeted the gangster network in North India as raids are being conducted by the agency in parts of Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Punjab, Rajasthan. Congress President Malikarjun Kharge, during his address at a public meeting for the party's campaign in Gujarat last evening, compared Prime Minister Modi with Ravan.
Vijay Sharmila, she was seated in a car. She wanted to drive till the CM's camp office, but she wasn't allowed. And then the police officials stored the vehicle. She was brought at the SR Nagar police station.
Taran district of Punjab. This was the second Pakistani drone that has been shot down by the border security force in past 24 hours in Punjab.
The Delhi police has filed a petition at the court getting this narco test done on December 1, and this has been accepted.
ये कानून 3 साल पहले पारित हो चुका है। अगर दम जिसके पास है वो चालू करा रहा हो। ये तो सेंट्रल कानून है, ये सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेशन है। मोदी सरकार के पास है, उनकी जेब में है। सीए लागू कराने किसने रोका है? क्यों नहीं लागू कर सकते? सीए अगर लागू होगी ना, ज्यादा हिंदू लोगों का खतरा बनेगी। ये मैं आज से आप इसको संज्ञान में।
Well, we're back with the pictures of Union Home Minister Amit Shah carrying out a roadshow in Ahmedabad. This seems to be Asarwa. I could see Pradeep Singh Waghela. Pradeep Singh Waghela is a former MOS home of Gujarat. And this is east of Ahmedabad. And huge crowds, traditional BJP bastion. And Home Minister's home estate. Tomorrow, first phase of polling, 89 seats to go to polls. Of course, not this part because the areas which are going to polls tomorrow include South Gujarat, Saurashtra and Kutch, and there the campaigning is stopped yesterday. And this is north of Gujarat, central Gujarat in fact, Ahmedabad. On that note, a short break and we are back with 6 p.m. This is exclusive with Shawan Sen.
Vijay Sharmila, she was seated in a car. She wanted to drive till the CM's camp office, but she wasn't allowed. And then the police officials stored the vehicle. She was brought at the SR Nagar police station.
Taran district of Punjab. This was the second Pakistani drone that has been shot down by the border security force in past 24 hours in Punjab.
The Delhi police has filed a petition at the court getting this narco test done on December 1, and this has been accepted.
ये कानून 3 साल पहले पारित हो चुका है। अगर दम जिसके पास है वो चालू करा रहा हो। ये तो सेंट्रल कानून है, ये सेंट्रल लेजिस्लेशन है। मोदी सरकार के पास ये उनकी जेब में है, ये लागू कराने किसने रोका है? क्यों नहीं लागू कर सकते? सीए अगर लागू होगी ना, ज्यादा हिंदू लोगों का खतरा बनेगी। ये मैं हाथ से आप इसको संज्ञान में ले लेना चाहिए कि ये जो सीए है और जो एनआरसी है, ये बस चुनावी ये औजार है। सिर्फ चुनाव की मकसद के लिए ये सारे की बात हो रहे हैं, सीए और एनआरसी। बस ये बात हमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है। अगर सरकार चाहे तो कर सकते हैं, सरकार उनके पास है। ये हो सकता है, अगर कोई शासन के लिए कुछ भी हो सकता है, हमें इसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। कानून व्यवस्था को अगर सही ढंग से चलाना है, इसके लिए कोई निर्णय ले सकते हैं सरकार की अपनी ये अधिकार बनते हैं।
Around 7 a.m. a mass
These are the Kashmiri Pandits. They are staging protests because they are feeling the similar kind of situation what they faced in 90s in the Kashmir. And they are saying one thing that is very clear, that those who are trying to portray that the Kashmir Files movie was a propaganda, they are trying to just portray and give a clean sheet to those who have been culprits of the genocide of the Kashmiri Pandits.
As Gujarat goes to polls on the 1st of December, 89 of 182 seats will vote.
Where high voltage political battle has broken out in the state of Gujarat since the bipolarity of the state.
Will the BJP score a record victory in Gujarat? Is the Aam Aadmi Party even a factor?
Politics has been challenged for the first time. Watch the fastest updates only on India's election headquarters
on Republic TV. Hello, welcome you watching. This is Exclusive with me, Shavin Sen. We're getting to you tonight a story that not a single media is reporting about. The saffron bogey has now been exposed. Tonight we'll get you another expose on the Malegaon blast. But up first, these are the headlines we're tracking for you at this hour. Big exclusive coming up at 6 p.m. Big revelations in the Malegaon case. Probe Republic exposes saffron terror hoax. Republic decodes the modus operandi of gangster Lawrence Bishnoi. Stay tuned for the super explosive revelations. AIIMS Cyberattack case gets bigger. IP addresses from foreign country now under the scanner. Israeli filmmaker mocks Hindu genocide. Meanwhile, center builds transit camps, assures their well-being. Is this still a propaganda for the lobby? It's day 2 of the 18th edition of the India-US joint military exercise. Republic remains the only channel to get you exclusive ground reports. Aam Aadmi Party's hypocrisy exposed. Cops lathi charged on protesting farmers at Sangrur. Ladies and gentlemen, week after week, we have been getting you details of the investigation, or rather, if I may say so, the so-called investigation that was carried out by the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorist Squad in the Malegaon blast. First, we told you how the ATS conducted narco analysis and then never relied upon it. Then we brought you multiple witnesses, statements of these witnesses and the inconsistencies in it. Tonight, we'll also get you details of how Lieutenant Colonel Purohit was allegedly fixed by the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorist Squad, and now it is out in the open. My colleague Alisha Nair and Sandeep have been piecing together all the details in this entire investigation. Take a look at this report and then we go across to our reporters Alisha and Sandeep.